Don't be fooled by dive shops and agencies pushing certifications on you that you don't need. Welcome back, guys. If you like scuba diving content involving gear configuration, tips, dive sites, and so much more, then dive down, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring that dive bell. That way you'll never miss any of our exciting content. Because I use all of my years of experience as a diver, dive master, and instructor to help improve your dives. In today's video, we're going to be talking about specialty certifications that are absolutely made up to just increase profits of agencies and dive shops. You will never be asked to show a C card to participate in these dives. You're essentially spending valuable money on garbage when you could be purchasing quality dive gear or courses that will actually make you a better diver. Right, so let's dive in. Course number 1. Advanced buoyancy control. Now, this one sounds great, like, oh, I want to master buoyancy so that I can not bounce into coral or so I'm not constantly having to kick to stay level. This course is garbage because you should have been taught everything you need to know about buoyancy during your open water course, and you just need to practice to perfect it. If your instructor or dive shop didn't, then you need to leave them a review stating so and ask for a refund, but you probably won't get it. There's no secret of buoyancy that's being withheld until you take this course, and if you know of a dive shop that's saying that, then they're trying to scam you. You'll never be asked to show a certification card for advanced buoyancy control. Now, when you go through the progression of courses, your instructors will more than likely monitor your buoyancy, and if it's not up to par, may suggest that you improve it. But if you go to my website and click on courses, you'll see advanced buoyancy as one of the ones that I offer. And you might say, if it's garbage, then why do you offer it? Well, there are divers out there, and I've had plenty of them, who simply want to collect every certification card from their agency. And there's nothing wrong with being a card collector, as long as you're aware that there really isn't any added benefit. Instead, what I suggest is that if a student comes to me and wants to improve their buoyancy, then we simply go diving for maybe an hour or two, and we'll work on making it better. One thing I like to do for my students is to get a roll of quarters from the bank and have them practice by descending to the bottom of a pool, picking up one quarter at a time, and bringing it up and placing it on the shallow ledge, using only their breathing to control their buoyancy. By doing this, they're learning to control their buoyancy with the air in their lungs rather than in their BCD. They don't have to pay for the cost of a course and a seat card, but just a couple of hours of diving. Course number 2 that is a waste is boat diver. If you've never been on a boat, you're never going to be asked to show a boat diver certification card. That simply doesn't happen. Let's say you're a new diver going through your open water course and you're about to get on your first boat, or you're an inland lake or quarry diver that's never dove on one. Well, that's completely okay. Every boat operator is different, but there are some basic rules that generally apply to almost everyone. Bring only the gear that you need for your dive. Basically, don't bring your entire gear closet because storage on a boat is limited, especially if the charter is full. And don't hog the space on the boat because the other divers will hate you. Assemble your gear prior to getting on the boat and test to make sure everything is working properly. I like to do this the night before and just one final check before I board the boat. Pay attention to the dive briefing by the captain and/or crew, which basically means that if they are talking, then your mouth is shut. You're actively listening to their instructions, not fiddling with your gear, not talking to other divers on the boat, not daydreaming off or looking at the birds around the dock.
Mine.
They're more than likely going to be telling you about safety protocols, information on the dive site you're about to head to, and other relevant information. If at any point you feel like you're going to be sick, then head to the stern or the back of the boat, lean and go for distance. Don't get sick into the wind, and don't go below deck to the head, because that's just going to make your situation worse. Course number 3 that is absolute garbage is computer diver. In my 18 years of diving, I've never been asked or seen anyone asked to show proof of a certification that qualifies them to use their dive computer. I don't think that there is, or at least I've never heard of a diver who knows how to operate every dive computer ever made, or at least all of the current popular models, but there might be. Anyways, there's really only one way to be qualified to use your current dive computer, and that is read the manual. I know that some of them are long, and a lot of people will tune out before ever finishing it. If that's the case, then read a section at a time until you complete it, and if you need a little extra motivation to get through it, then just remember, this is your dive computer, and it is part of your life-saving equipment. Don't you think you should know all of its functions? Many manufacturers also have instructional videos up here on YouTube that show you how to operate them. If they don't, then maybe reach out to their social media team and request one. My dive computer is the Shearwater Perdix. I use it for recreational diving, technical diving, and really anything when I'm underwater. In my opinion, it's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Okay, I don't know about the last one, but it's pretty amazing. And a lot of other divers really love it. Shearwater's reputation is impeccable, from their products all the way to their customer service. If you'd like to check it out, the link will be down in the description. Course number 4 that is there to take your money is DPV, or Diver Propulsion Vehicle. Now, DPVs are great in the right circumstances. They help you get through current if you're trying to get down and hit that reef site for the perfect pick when that current is maybe just a little too strong, or to get that lobster that you see hiding in a crevice, or covering a large wreck allowing you to see more of it when you're limited by factors such as your NDL and air consumption. Will you be asked to ever show proof of certification? I never have, and again, there are many different models out there, and these are quite expensive. So I don't know if there are instructors who are qualified to teach everything about all of them. The best way to familiarize yourself with your DPV is to, again, read the manual and practice in a controlled environment. Maybe take it into a larger pool first, and then on a shallow reef until you start to get more comfortable with it. Side note, I've been on vacation and rented them before without ever having to show proof of a DPV certification. I found a shop that rented out the same model that I have, and it saved me valuable space and money by not having to pack mine. We're going to combine the next few courses into 2 groups. First is Group A, Marine Ecosystems Awareness, Research, and Underwater Hunter/Collector. These 3 classes, I would say, are probably a waste of money for most divers, but maybe not for all, and I'll explain. Let's say you're a student and your college or university will grant you credit for taking Marine Ecosystems Awareness or Research, most likely in the marine biology courses. Well, I don't think that these are a waste of time at all in that circumstance. If I was in school and could get credit for taking some classroom time on these subjects, but also getting in the water and actually experiencing them, then I'd be all down. Sign me up. Where do I write the check? Do people still write checks? I don't know. Most of the time it's Apple Pay for me. Side note to all of you Android users, yes, iPhone users are snobs, but we kind of have a good reason. Step up your game, get an iPhone. Nobody likes to see green bubbles. If you're not a college student, then I really wouldn't take the courses, honestly. Just follow rule number 2 of scuba diving. To protect the marine environment, don't touch the fishies or bang into the coral with your fins like a jack. Maybe also pick up a book such as Reef Fish Identification. These are great books that will help you identify and learn more about the wildlife, and they're available in different versions covering the different regions of the world. And I'll put a link down below if you want to check them out. As far as Underwater Hunter/Collector, I could see a yes and no. Do you need a cert to go out and collect meg teeth or seashells? Absolutely not. Do you need it for spearfishing? No, but I can see why some might get it. For spearfishing, if you've never used a spear gun, then it's a good idea to get some training on it. My best advice is to find a dive buddy who spearfishes and who is safe and responsible to take you out with them the next time to show you the ropes. If you don't know anyone, then you could head to your local dive shop for the training, but you don't need the actual certification card. You could simply hire a dive instructor or a dive master to teach you. You just pay for their time and the dives, but do you need the actual C card? No. They might, for insurance purposes, require you to take the course, but I haven't seen that. Some boat operators may ask for verification of certification or experience. More than likely experience. This course generally isn't really that expensive, at least here in South Florida. So if you had to pay for it, I wouldn't fret about it, but like I said, is it needed? 9 times out of 10, I'd say no. And lastly, underwater photography or videography. Now, I can confidently say that you will never be asked to show proof of an underwater photography or videography certification in order to bring your camera on a dive. That just doesn't happen. This certification is one that I would steer far and away from. And think about it, you've been on a dive boat how many times? Have you seen someone bringing a GoPro along on their dive? I do it all the time unless I'm teaching. I guarantee you that if you're heading out on the boat, there's at least one camera on board, and none of them have ever been asked, are you qualified to use it? Theoretically, I could teach these courses and certify divers in them, but would I do it? No. I am an amateur in these subject matters. I like to think that I'm improving and getting better with every dive, but do I believe I'm qualified to offer any expert opinions on the subject matter? Absolutely not. It would look bad on me, and the student wouldn't gain anywhere near their money's worth if I were to teach these courses. And, well, what if the instructor was a pro who worked at Nat Geo filming all of their underwater footage? Well, okay, you could take the course for them, but you could just as easily pay for their dives or just offer a couple $100s for their time to teach you some tips or tricks for filming that would make you better. Do you need to pay for the C card as well? No. And I'll do you one better. You could find any general amateur diver, someone who doesn't work as a dive pro, but nevertheless dives and is a professional or talented amateur underwater photographer to teach you these skills. You don't have to pay for the certification. I'd simply offer to pay them some cash and buy them some lunch after a dive. And maybe it's because I'm a fatty, I don't know, but lunch after a dive goes a long way for me. I hear tacos and I'm like, yes, please. If you enjoy this content, it would really make my day if you could dive down, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring that dive bell. And I'll be back next week with another video, but until then, plan your dive and dive your plan.